Hello and welcome to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're back in the Ray Formula Ford, the FF1600, of course, at Oulton Park International. This is a fantastic layout, plenty of tricky little bits, a couple of chicanes, some overtaking opportunities, and it's a lot of sliding this week, so it's going to be a lot of fun. If you are new to my channel, what we do is I show you a hot lap, and then we do a breakdown lap for those people that want a little bit more detail about where my braking markers and stuff like that are, and then final run through with the driving line on for you crazy people that are into the driving line. Enough of that, let's start the lap. Right, let's go for it. So we're up to fourth gear, over onto the left-hand side, looking for these signs on the left. Little trail brake, down to third gear, cut the corner, exit nice and wide, there's no off-track if you keep your right-hand tyres on the track. Up to fourth gear, back over to the right-hand side, looking for the dip. When we get in the dip, we brake, we drop it down to third, we feel and ease the power back on through that corner. Up to fourth gear. Just looking for this exit road, and then we do a lift, we hold it, and then we feel the power back on again. Over to the left-hand side, braking hard, down to first gear, all the way down to the apex, feed the power back on again. Up to third gear. Over to the right-hand side, looking for the first tricky chicane. Braking hard, down to second, down to second, yeah, left and second, sorry. I go down to first on this second chicane. Got to cut it close to the tyres on both sides, looking for the 75-metre area. Down to first gear, little correction, try not to kill yourself in the tyres. So far so good. Down to third gear. Correct any oversteer you may have. They're coming up to the tricky final corner. Trail it off, down to the apex, keep it in second, get on the gas nice and early. And keep it close round to the left hand side here, shorten the track, and over and across the line in a 1 minute 43.540. Park up nice and safely. Right, let's do the guide lap. Okay, so here's where I'll slow it down a little bit. So the first braking marker is the middle of those three signs on the left-hand side. As we get there, we're getting up to about 65%. We're going to trail that off. We're in fourth gear. We drop it down to third gear here. We start feeding the power back on. What we want to do is get up to 100% at the apex. I'm slightly ahead of the apex. I'm going to cut the corner nice and easily there, as you can see. So I'm not on the grass, but I am on the mud. Just leave it flat out. You're absolutely fine coming here, but if your right-hand tyres do go across and leave the track, you are going to have an off-track. Up to fourth gear. Get nice and close to the right-hand curbing here. And what we're looking for just ahead, as you can see, is that little dip in the road. As we get to that dip in the road, we get on the brakes. That's going to put all the weight into the front tyres, and it means that they're going to start being able to turn. We're going to trail it off. I do a little blip as I drop it down into third gear. And now I'm just holding it around 50%, keeping that throttle on there, so that when I get down to the apex and the rumble strip, I can go back up to 100% nice and early. Exit wide. You don't want to be actually on that little bit of AstroTurf there on the right-hand side. That is an off-track. Up to fourth gear. And this next corner, it's just going to be a lift. So be careful in a race, because some people do brake there. And what we're looking for is this entrance road on the right-hand side. So as we get there, we're going to drop it down to about 40%, 35%, 30%. Wow, any lower. And now, once we leave the apex, we're going to hold it at around 70% until I'm sure that I'm making the corner, and now I'm back up to 100. This final braking zone is a bit tricky, really. It's the end of these tyres on the left-hand side. So as you get there, you're going to jump off the throttle onto the brakes. I have my brake bias set at 54% in this car for this track. I'm going to trail it off down to third, down to second, and then down to first, and I'm just feeding the throttle back on. So I'm at 100% nicely in the middle of the corner at the apex. Up to second, up to third. I'll leave it in third here because I'm going to be dropping it down to second. So this is tricky. Again, you see this elbow just ahead of me here. that's when I'm going to start turning in and braking at the same time. So as you see, I'm on maximum brake here for this corner, about 65%. I'm doing that with my wheel absolutely straight. I'm going to start trailing it off and looking for this apex here on the right hand side, keeping it in second gear, keeping the revs nice and high. Oh, it's close. And yeah, so I'm back up to 100% nice and early. Up to fourth gear, and the braking marker here is midway between the 100 and the 50, so around the 75 mark. And again, we're braking really quite hard, up to 100%. Again, because I've got my brake bias set at 54%, I'm not locking up the fronts as we're going into this, trying to wipe off all the speed in a straight line, dropping it down to third gear, and then second gear. I'm still, there we go, I'm trailing it off now. I drop it down to first gear and start getting back up on the throttle. I miss those tyres by a hair's breadth. Get back on 100% throttle, and then a little tap on the brakes. Get that weight back in the front tyres again, so you're not really slowing it down. And again, we're wanting to cut on the inside here. Then get back up to 100% throttle, up to second gear, and then it's just a lift around this corner, holding it around 40-50%, cutting the corner on the inside. So as long as you're staying on the mud, you're fine there. Exit nice and wide, but make sure that the centre of your car is still over the track. Up to fourth gear. A lot of people over brake for this corner, but what we're looking for is these overhanging trees on the left hand side, or if you want on the right hand side, you see the green and white stripy thing. So as we get to that, we're going to brake up to about 60%. We're going to trail it off. We're going to drop, as you see, I'm putting a little bit of maintenance throttle on. So as I drop it into third gear, it's not like pulling a handbrake. And now I'm just holding it around 10%. And now I'm back up to 100% throttle, nice and early. Ideally, I want to have my right-hand tyres just cutting this second apex. But I got on the gas a little bit early and had to readjust. So it just pushed me out wide. Up to fourth gear. Now for the final turn. So once you get past this turn right sign up ahead, which is very handy, it's about midway between there and up ahead. You see the number 22 on the marshal's hut. And again, you're braking up to about 90%. Oh, I do actually make to 100% here. Drop it down to third gear, down to second gear. And now we're going to feed back on with the power so that we're on 100% throttle as we exit the apex. I'm actually just slightly below that. A little bit of a correction. Yeah, and over and across the line. Right, final run through now with the driving line on for you crazy people.